I said y'all about to go down.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to a special broadcast of Urban Health Outreach Media. I am your host, Steve Belcher. Thanks for joining us. How is everyone doing tonight? I hope everyone is doing well. It seems like we're kind of slowly but surely kind of getting back to some normalcy. Not very much, but a little. You got Georgia that opened up some of their establishments in other states. So hopefully we can get back to some normalcy, but as a step-by-step process. So tonight we have an awesome show. You've seen the advertisement that posted up of Naishanda Larramore of Save 1,000 Lives out of Jacksonville, Florida. And I hope I got the city right. She'll correct me if I'm wrong, but Naishanda is doing some amazing things down in Jacksonville. And this was a result at the untimely death of her husband, Wayne Larramore. So she's going to share her story and what led her to this point to save 1,000 lives and to advocate for transplant, not just kidney transplant, but transplant in general. So without further ado, let me bring on teacher, advocate, and transplant entrepreneur, Naishanda Larramore. Hey, Shonda, how you doing?
I'm fine. I'm doing great. Just great.
Yeah. I had to give you the Rolls Royce a welcome. I should have put the background we have for our royalty with the lights and the red carpet. I wasn't thinking.
Thank you. Anyway,
Yeah.
Great.
But how's it going?
Everything is going well. Everything is moving in the right direction. I have found my niche. I found my purpose, and I am going with it. I'm moving along with it. I always tell God, wherever you lead me, I'm going to follow. So that's what I plan on doing.
Absolutely. And for a lot of people who may be watching tonight, they don't know that you was on our broadcast. You was on two of our broadcasts. I had you on Sunday morning transplant coffee talk about 1.5 years ago, something like that. Yeah. And then you were on Sci Speak, Sorrel George on her show. What was that show? Oh my God. It's on the tip of my tongue, and I made up the name. Sisters Against Kidney Disease.
Okay.
Yeah, you remember that show Tuesday night? Yeah, 8 o'clock.
I do.
So, since then, you've came a long way. I've seen the changes from when you first came on our show until now, and you look like that you're at peace with yourself, with your situation, and with your husband's passing.
Absolutely. Can
you share a little bit about your story?
Sure. Ironically, you're mentioning how long ago it's been, and everything that's happening now in our country, in the world with COVID-19. I didn't think about this, or no one knew that this was going to happen 2 years, where we were, before 2 years ago. So I just think about it, and I always, ask God, why did you do this? Because that hurt. Like, why would you do that? But now I see, God always has a plan and a purpose, and I fully believe that if if Mr. Larramore, if Wayne would have still been here, then I might have been a nervous wreck, because it's nerve-wracking. Anyone that's in the transplant community, they're very cautious. I've asked some other people, how do they feel about it, and still communicating with my friends in the transplant community. It's stressful because any little thing can happen because of their compromised immune system. So, right now, I'm like, whoo, because...
And you know what? I was just sitting here thinking, if your husband was here today and you was dealing with that situation at this time, and let's just say if she was in the hospital, you wouldn't be able to be there like you were before, during that time when you were.
Those whole 6 months. With him being in the hospital, I don't think I would have been, allowed, even though it was on the it's the cardiac unit where they were on the second floor of Mayo, but they would have shut down. But luckily, we were ahead of our time, because we would always use Messenger or use FaceTime to communicate with each other when I couldn't make it to the hospital. So sitting right here on this couch right now, we would have been talking to each other, anyway. So I was kind of acclimated to being able to speak via Messenger or FaceTime. So to get to the story, April 25th, ironically, we just was the anniversary of his passing. So his birthday was April 24th. He passed away the next day, April 25th. He would have been 50 years old today, on that day, on Saturday. And he was in the hospital 6 months, waiting for the gift of life, waiting for a heart and a kidney. And, that did not happen. He did, he did have, I don't know, what is the word? Because of the kidneys, he did have an infection as well. And man, it just took a whole nother turn, and it was just a turn for the worse. So, he's with God. He's not suffering anymore. And I am doing a whole lot better. COVID-19 kind of struck a chord a little bit, because this distancing is, it hit differently when you're kind of, when you're by yourself. My youngest daughter is away in college, or was away in college, and she spends time between myself and her father. So, sometimes it got a little bit, just a little bit troublesome, because because my daughter wasn't here. But, all is well. All is well. I'm striving. I'm doing everything that God has taken the time to do, because once you are alone and you begin to listen to God, He directs your path. So I'm good.
Mm-hmm. So with so many people, spouses who are in your situation, maybe husbands pass away or husbands' wives pass away because of they may need a heart transplant or kidney transplant, liver transplant. What and we know a lot of people deal with that grief in many ways. What inspired you to do what you're doing right now, to start this Save 1,000 Lives campaign?
This was already we were already working on it, as a couple. While he was in the hospital, it was tough to just kind of get him to open up and allow people to come in to something that was so private. But I just wanted to continue the work we had already started. And so once we started, doing news interviews and the newspapers, it was, I said, no, I cannot stop. I will not stop, because again, I would not want another person to have to endure what I did, waiting for a heart and a kidney. So if I could help the next man or woman to be able to give them the opportunity for someone to become an organ donor, to help save lives, then that's what I was going to do. I just wanted to continue our work, continue his legacy. That's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, you don't brag about this. It seems like you've, well, no, it doesn't seem like it, but you're very modest. What I see, very modest person.
Right.
But you don't brag about this a lot. But your husband was ex NFL player. I mean, I googled him and it mentioned that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
What
that wasn't
team?
with me. That wasn't me. He was an NFL player before me. So,
Okay.
I didn't experience or see any of that part. I got to, experience him. No,
He was a minister as well.
Yeah, he was a youth minister. So he was, he loved God. There was absolutely no question, and anybody that knows him knew that he loved to laugh and he loved to talk about God. So that was never up for debate or discussion. So, that was the good thing about him. But that NFL life had nothing to do with me. And, I didn't have to worry about people trying to come to me and say, can I get this? Can I get that? Because there was nothing to get. So everything I got from him was pure and from the heart. So I never had to question my motives or his motives about what he want or, who I was, because we just saw each other for who we were.
Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, I want to bring something up right quick.
Okay.
If I can. I want to take us off the screen and let people see this and then bring us back on.
Okay.
Can you tell us about Transplant Talk with Naishanda? Where did the whole idea and concept come about to come up with your new hit show, Transplant Talk with Naishanda?
Okay, speak that. We are going to speak that hit show. Absolutely love it. Nobody there, I can't say nobody, but I haven't seen anyone else do what I am, what I'm going to do, not even what I'm trying, what I will do. And my first show is tomorrow with the Griffins. And, I just felt like you all have been through so much as a transplant recipient or family. So I want to be able to have your story told like my story, was told. So I just want to be able to share other people's story, because everyone's road, everyone is on that road to transplant, but how you get there, your scenery, your ETA is absolutely all different. So everybody has a story to tell. So why not?
Mm-hmm. Now, what type of transplant recipients are you focusing on? Is it general transplant or like liver, kidneys?
All of it. Whichever one. If it's a kidney, I know people that had pancreas, double lung, the liver, heart, like even the cornea. So just being in this community and having this avenue to be able to open it up and let people's story be told, I guess because it is very disheartening to see other people's story, and it has nothing to do with transplant. It could be cancer, all those other unfortunate, diseases that are out there, but there's not a lot of people. There has never been a telethon for organ donation. And organ donation is so huge. It is so vital. It is so needed. And we got to start talking about it. No more shutting it down, just sweeping it under the rug. No, there are people out here that has been on dialysis for years and finally just getting a kidney, or they've been waiting on a heart transplant list for years, or had to do something in order to get on a heart transplant list. Right. Nobody knows that backstory. A lot of people don't know about the cost, the medicines and everything that you have to do in order to get a kidney. and even for a heart transplant, the money that is needed.
Well, let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for we know for kidney transplant, it could either be cadaver person who's deceased, or it could be a living donor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for a heart transplant, someone needs to pass away or die in order for someone to get their heart.
Correct.
Um, what is the challenge in waiting? Because again, how do you frame that up in as an advocate to get someone to donate their heart or a family member to donate their loved one's heart when they're about to expire?
Right. Well, I experienced that, just waiting. What we would do was with my late husband and I we definitely prayed for, whoever the person was that would give him this, the second chance at life, the gift of life. We prayed for them. That by far is not an easy decision to make. By far, it is very hard, and it is also very selfless to know that your loved one gave their life to help someone else have a second chance at life. So by far, that is not that's not an easy discussion. Howsoever, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a hard discussion to have, and you have to have that discussion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you said your first guests were the Griffins?
No, actually, my first guests were Dee and Tyrone Brisby.
Tell us about Dee and Tyrone Brisby, the backstory on that.
Tyrone received a heart 5 years ago. And the most amazing thing about Tyrone is that he received a heart transplant in 5 weeks. Never have I ever heard anyone ever being on a heart transplant list for that short of time. So
5 weeks.
5 weeks. 5 weeks.
Wow.
So it's never I've never heard of anybody that it can happen so fast, for. So he received it from a 14-year-old Caucasian male, Kyle. And Kyle just so happened to talk to his parents, a conversation, a dinner table conversation that doesn't always happen. So he was able to tell his family, hey, if something happens to me, I would like to be an organ donor. And a few weeks or, a few months later, Kyle became an organ donor for Tyrone. And
God bless him.
that
Wow.
Yeah. So, but for me, it's all about education. So the more that we inform, educate, and bring awareness to the multicultural community, things could be a lot better instead of people just shying away. I don't want to talk about it. As many times as I've had conversations with people, sometimes they just try to shoo me away. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But why not? Like, what if you?
Why do you think that happens?
Because it's not.
People don't want to talk about it.
They don't want to talk about it. They're not educated about it. Totally not educated. Don't care anything about it. Just don't want to talk about it. The only time people are aware of organ donation or even try to bring it up is if it hits you at your front door. That's it.
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and let me ask you this. As far as you know, the donor pool is not a lot in the donor pool when it comes to minorities.
Correct. In this country, it's 113,000 people waiting for the gift of life. And the kidney is the number one organ that is needed. Over 80% of people that's waiting need a kidney. So, I mean, the numbers are staggering. But as it relates to the people in a multicultural community, they don't want to have any parts of it. So I need to change their mindsets, their thought process about becoming organ donors. Like I keep telling them, I'm not trying to take your organs right now, but if something happens to you, if you put it in a will, if it's not on your driver's license, because it does not have to be on your driver's license, then you're giving someone the opportunity to become, to have a second chance at life. That's what I see.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with what was the organization you work with?
There's several.
No, I think it's Life Quest.
Life Quest and Donate Life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, when you go out and talk to organizations
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to organ donations,
Mm-hmm.
Do you get a lot of questions or people signing up to be organ donors after they heard you, or you get a lot of let me think about it?
It's definitely let me think. Every once in a while we have the opportunity. Some people say, okay, I'll sign up right now. And I love those times. Those are great times. But then those times where you have to say, listen, well, take my information, take the card, and then just kind of make the decision. Or if you go get your driver's license, like this year, it's time for me to renew my license. But right now I can't do it. So, but it will definitely be on there that I will be an organ donor. And, but when you go out to the churches, to the schools, a lot of the students have similar stories that they can tell you about people in their family, or unfortunately, they've lost some loved ones in their family that was waiting, for a kidney. So, it's universal. This is not going anywhere. Organ donation is not going anywhere. It is always going to be here. And people just have to open up their minds and hearts and understand that, when you pass away and you are able to save 7 to 8 lives, that means a lot to a family. And believe it or not, the donor family or the recipient family, they are so grateful for the opportunity for them, for their loved ones to just have a second chance at life. Like Dee and Tyrone, the Brisbys, they've been married 35 years,
Wow.
So, what an opportunity.
Yeah, I know Dee and Tyrone. They were on that show.
Yes.
So yeah, I love those guys.
Right. 35 years. They got to see their children. They get to see their grandchildren. Like, such a awesome opportunity. Everybody don't stay married 35 years.
Yeah, that's true.
These days. So, we know Dee takes care of Tyrone, and they are such an awesome couple. Such an awesome couple.
Yeah. They Tyrone has a awesome story about the hurricane and everything else pertaining around his heart transplant.
Yes.
Now, what has been the biggest myth you heard about organ donation in the minority community?
Okay, so the biggest myth is if I get into a car accident, and they learn that I am an organ donor, they won't try to save me and they want to give away my organs. So, that is one of the biggest lies that I've heard. But again, it's because of what was placed in society to give them that idea. Doctors are in the business of saving lives, not taking lives, So, if you have, and I'm not a doctor, but, if they had different things that's going on, internal bleeding, organs begin to shut down. That was definitely in a situation with my late husband. His organs began to shut down, and the infection had set to like 55,000 in his body. So there is no way that that would have been a thing, for him to be able to give someone his organs. But that myth about if I go to the emergency room, if I go to the doctors, they find out that I'm a I'm an organ donor, then I'm not going to do it. But here's the secret. As many times as rescue has come to my home or we've been to the emergency room, not one time did they look at anyone's driver's license to say, hey, are you an organ donor? Okay, we're going to put them right over here in this box because they are organ donor. Let's just go ahead and kill them off and let's just take their organs. That did not happen. That never happened to me. I can only speak for Naishanda Larramore. That has never happened.
Mm-hmm. Now, Naishanda, what are your hopes to accomplish with Transplant Talk with Naishanda?
Steve, I just want to bring more awareness to everybody. Just bring more awareness to the world, because it's not only in the United States. This is around the world. Even when I'm on Instagram, I see places in India, I see different countries that are battling, this cause, which is to get people registered. So it's not just here in the United States. So it's not just here in Jacksonville. And yes, you were correct. Okay. But it's not just here, but the numbers in Jacksonville is probably about 30% of African Americans are registered. Maybe 30% are registered as organ donors.
Now, where are you at in your campaign to save 1,000 lives?
That is a good question. And since COVID-19, I haven't been able to get an update, on where we are, and everything is just shut down. They can't go to the DMV. But I'm hoping with Transplant Talk, we'll be able to get people to get on the computers and get them to register. And, I'm still trying to get that 1,000. I think we were over 200. But again, if I can have a marathon of getting people to register, that would be awesome.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah. If that could happen,
right.
It's not like we don't have a lot of people. There are enough people, enough connections in the transplant community to show these people, like St. Jude's, like cancer, for what's her name? I know Donna Deegan here.
You talking about Sally Field? No.
The Kurgan or whatever, I forget the name of the cancer, organization that helps everyone.
You talking about the Susan B. Coleman?
Yes, that would be it. I should know these things, but I don't. So
right. Well, no, you don't deal with breast cancer.
No, I don't. Mm-hmm. And this is my lane. This is my lane because I teach 10th graders, so I'm always teaching. So I feel as if I'm not leaving what I'm doing. I'm just strictly bringing more awareness to the outside world, to the to the universe. So that's what I want to do. That's my heart. That's my heart's desire.
And that's awesome. The fact, like you said, you're a teacher. That is real big, because when you have an educator, an educator that teaches, then you can teach that information that's out there that a lot of people may not be privy to get. They may have lack access to the internet, or just out of ignorance, don't know that the information is out there, or just dealing with everyday life situations, is not thinking about donation awareness or anything like that, like you said, unless it hits them. And so it's like you have experience on both fronts, as the teacher, educator, and as a wife who experienced it with her husband.
Absolutely. Experience is a good teacher, right? So this is what I'm doing. I'm not stepping out of the box. I'm not doing anything new, but what I know this is what I was designed to do. I just didn't know it, and you think that once you get a certain age and you are in a career, and all of a sudden you receive a curveball And you're like, well, wait a minute now, where did that come from? I did not.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for the movie, which kind of helped solidify it.
And what movie was that?
A
I know
Question of Faith.
Right. That's what you told me. You got the idea to say 1,000 lives at the end of the movie. I remember that you told me that.
And ironically, it just came back on.
Really?
Last weekend on Lifetime. So, the big to do were the Clock Sisters. But the next day, A Question of Faith came on. I didn't watch it, but it came on.
I mean, I don't think that was a coincidence. It came on right around Leonard's birthday.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Well, actually, like it came on. I think that movie came on like 2 weeks ago, like right around Easter. That's when it came on, and everything is a coincidence sometimes. But I believe when God is directing your path, then it's all divine intervention. So that's what I received. That's all.
Let me ask you, Naishanda, with the Brigsbys, that being your first show and interview, what did you take away from that interview?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that, because before actually posting it on Facebook, I let my family members watch it. And when my family members, my daughters, my mother, my father, when they saw the interview and afterwards they had questions for me, like they learned something from it, I was completely blown away. And I was so happy that they were able to be engaged. The video is about 30 minutes. And let me shout out Chris Britton, Chris Candid, for allowing us to come in to the studio. And that happened before COVID-19, but we went into the studio and he helped me, put that video together. So thank you so much, Chris. And just knowing that, learning that more people needed to hear the different stories about organ transplant, it just fired me up more. I would say we got to get more stories out. We got to get more stories out. So then I started contacting people and asking them would they consider being on the show. And, I already have a good 6 or 7 people ready. They said, whenever you're ready for us, Naishanda, we're ready to tell our story. So I'm so happy about it. The most thing for me was when Tyrone shared about how long he was on the transplant list, because sometimes it could be upwards to 6 months. And then the cost of medication. I learned something. Even as the teacher, you become the student and you learn something. So that's what I took away from it. I just learned you got to get more stories out.
Well, let's talk about the cost of medication for transplant recipients. Now, is the cost for someone, I mean, I don't expect you to know exact numbers, Naishanda, but do you know if heart transplant medicine is roughly the same as kidney transplant medicine? I mean, I know they both got to take anti-rejection medicines, but would you happen to know if they are kind of similar in nature?
I do not.
Right.
I do not. I learned the cost of a heart transplant is upwards to $1 million. And a kidney, is up there as well. So, to have a kidney and a heart transplant was over $1 million. So I had to look at that math because I was like, whoa, that's a lot. And even before having, even before being placed in a hospital full time, one day we went to Walgreens. And, the pharmacist said, she's bringing it up. And she said, oh, that's $1,500. And I said, I'm sorry, what? Wow. She said $1,500. And I was just floored. And I said, I'm sorry, wait a minute. This not even a 30-day supply. This was 10 days of heart medicine, 10 days. And I said, you got to be kidding me. You mean I got to decide if we're going to eat or we're going to save his life because he needs this medicine? It's ridiculous.
Right.
But
right.
let me tell you, good drugs, good RX, the drug that everyone sees on the commercials now. I quickly went there. I put this information in, and you can save anywhere between 80 and 90% with good RX. And that's exactly what I did. I was so grateful to have the know-how or know what to do next in order to be able to get this medication for him. And, Tyrone gave that, very clear because he takes 22 pills a day.
22 pills a day. Wow.
22. So you say, what did I get from it? I got a lot.
Wow.
How many more people are having to deal with that? Because this medicine is for the rest of your life.
I know.
Your life is depending on it. So you need this medicine. It's not up for debate or discussion. But what you gonna do?
And we don't know the side effects of taking, multiple medications like that, every day.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Now, with your show, will you also be having dialogue discussions on certain topics that impact the transplant community?
That's my goal. That's one of the goals. I would love to have doctors, and also I would love to have doctors and nurses, people in the medical field that see it every day, to give their their opinion or just what they see. And I would also love to have maybe a panel of people that don't necessarily believe in organ donations. So just have someone to come on and say, hey, I got questions now. Let's have these myth busters. Let's bust open these myths so that we can have this conversation.
Have you heard that? People that don't believe in organ donation?
Oh, yes.
Is that quite common?
Oh, yes. Especially in our community, especially in the multicultural community. They don't
Now, did they give any reason on why I don't believe in organ donation?
No. Well, again, lack of education.
Like I came here with my organs, I'm going to leave here with my organs.
Right. And you're not. So what? You really won't be leaving here with your organs.
They'll be here. Your spirit be gone and your body be left.
Yeah, they put you in that ground. That's it. That's a shell of a body. None of that is going with you. It's great.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They do. People honestly believe that. So what do you do? But try to bring more awareness and education, which is why Transplant Talk definitely was created.
Now, with the wake of this COVID-19, and I know before Transplant Talk with Naishanda, you were doing on-site presentations, talking. Now, with the wake of this, do you think those days are over with, going into the churches and speaking? And if so, is there any other way outside of Transplant Talk that you thought of to deliver your message?
That's a great question. But I do believe we'll be going back to the churches, churches, schools, and different organizations. I believe you'll be able to do that. Listen, my goal is if I could get one person that I talked to that day to say, hey, I become an organ donor, I've done my part. That's like the most important, that's the important thing to me. It's just like being a teacher. When you can change one kid, just one, then your job and your life is fulfilled just to be able to do that. But I want times that. So I do want 1,000 people to be able to do that. I definitely think that one, this is part of our legacy, the Larramore legacy, that we want to be able to just leave our mark. We always say, listen, somebody should do something about this.
Mm-hmm.
That somebody is me.
Right now, speaking of the Larramore legacy, can you briefly discuss the foundation that you set up?
Oh, our foundation, Save 1,000 Lives, and our job, or definitely my job, is to inform, educate, and bring awareness to the organization and donate life. I can help them in any kind of way possible. I will. I do, speak to Coral Denton and Pamela Rittenhouse. They're very informative, and they also give me the insight on some of the things that they're doing and asking if I could be a part of it. And I freely give that to them, because life is special and life is a gift. And Save 1,000 Lives was definitely created out of that love that we have for people, and we should all love each other. For me, it's just a special place in my heart. I know the hurt, I know the pain, and we got to be able to help each other, love each other, just as a people. So Save 1,000 Lives. We are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, and we're just out there. If I can help anyone with learning more about organ donation, and I promise you, I'm still learning myself, so I'm not a guru to this, and I can't help but try to help people, because somebody helped me. So that's what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had Miss Verna. Hey, Miss Verna, thank you for stopping by. She said that I would love to help her by sharing my story. Kidney recipient saved my life.
Thank you, Miss Vera. Thank you so much.
Wait a minute. And wait a minute. Rhonda Hill Johnson, she had a transplant today, and she on Facebook already. What?
Oh, wow. Yeah, God bless you, Johnson.
Yeah, Rhonda, I mean, you up already after the transplant? Or did it happen? I know it's supposed to happen today. She was getting prepped. She documented all the way up, I guess, to the
she said no,
not yet.
No.
Oh, tomorrow.
Okay.
God
bless you.
Yeah, you definitely in our thoughts and prayers. I was about to say, man, I mean, I was about to give you some high five. I mean, but that's awesome, Rhonda. She got the call, and she's at, are you in South Carolina or North Carolina? One of those states, getting ready for that. So that's awesome. Now, I mean, you are busy, Naishanda, because you also, aren't you North Carolina? Yeah. You also have a widowers group, right?
Yes. Widow, standing for Women Intentionally Discovering Our Way. I send messages to the ladies. I was trying to get us to do a Zoom so that we can talk to each other. So I'm still working on that. COVID-19 stopped a lot of things, but I think we'll be able to do something, with Zoom. And I haven't been to my school because we were on spring break. We were the ending of our spring break when COVID-19 came, and they said, we can't go back to the school. So, I've been teaching from home. I think right around the ending of March, the end of March is when we started, working from home, and it's been overwhelming. So, I have 170 plus kids.
Wow.
That we're trying to keep. I know, right? I know. So
wow.
I do my best to stay connected with them, and everybody's schedule is off with sleep and everything. So, yeah, it definitely is just trying to keep up with all the groups. So, yeah.
Now, is this group widows, can anyone join? Like somebody's watching tonight and their husband or spouse passed away. Is this something like a virtual group or is something just in the Jacksonville area?
It's in Jacksonville, but we're on Facebook. So if anybody wanted to, just kind of, be a part of that. And I'm the person I like to reach out to people. Unfortunately, we had like three other women at my school lose their spouses. And, yeah. Right. But I had three, and I had I also had a colleague that had already been through what I went through, so I can go to her. I love her so much, Renee Blazik, and I could go to her. Like, this is not a good day, but so I try to be that shoulder for someone else to cry on, or just if you need to talk to me, let's talk about it. It's okay. And ironically, that you mentioned that, I recently just lost an aunt. And my uncle did such a wonderful thing and made her organ donor.
Wow.
And that just touched my heart so much that he made her organ donor. And that's because of all of the talking that I've been doing. I've been talking people ears off. So, like if you would consider it, but he did it before I even said, are you going to consider doing it? But he let me know, niece, I've been hearing what you're saying. So she was able to save, I want to say like 3 or 4 lives.
Wow.
I'm just so honored and humbled. I'm touched that, he would do that. So my uncle and I now have a different kind of relationship. So when he calls me, I'm like, okay, let me talk to you. You good? I know that they had recently got married, like their anniversary was in April. And I text him, I said, yeah, you good? How you doing? And he said, I'm okay. But I know is when he pick up that phone to call me, then that means, niece, I really need to talk. So, your test is your testimony. And so, I'm here to show people that, yeah, you will smile again. The sun will shine again. And life goes on.
Mm-hmm. Now, would you consider being a co-host on, we do another show called Warriors Quest.
Okay. Okay.
Where we bring on kidney warriors looking for a living donor, give them an opportunity to share their story, their transplant information, coordinators information, and just share their story and to try to appeal to a living donor. And we that's hosted by Jared A. Brown. Yeah, and he also mentioned gave a comment to you. Thank you for all your hard work and efforts. But yeah, we have co-hosts that come on with him and just share a little bit and then talk with the guest and just on there as a co-host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we would definitely love to invite you on and have you on there.
Please do.
Yeah, absolutely. Any way to get your message out, because it's important. It's important to raise awareness concerning organ donation, whether it's heart, liver, kidney.
Yes.
Then you said cornea.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to see. I know your first show was YouTube recorded.
Yeah.
And now you're going to be going live.
Yes. Somebody suggested that I step out and don't record it and have this interaction that we're having here and seeing the comments and so I'm gonna try it. Nothing beats a failure but a try. So I definitely would try it. And my first guests are the Griffins, Carol and Solomon Griffin. So we've just been chatting back and forth today, and I keep telling them I'm so excited. I am super excited. Can't wait
So who? One of them had a transplant.
Okay, so Carol is the wife, and her husband Solomon had a heart transplant. You know, I want to say
man.
3 years now that we met in the hospital. So, you know, we've been connected ever since. So
wow.
Yeah, they're fun. That's my brother and my sister. I just love them.
Oh yeah. Do they live in Jacksonville?
You know, they live outside of Tallahassee. So but they don't live here. But it's gonna be a great show. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Where can we see that, and what time is it?
We will air tomorrow on Facebook, on YouTube, at 7:00. Transplant Talk with Naishanda, TNT, on Tuesday at 7.
Can we see that from your page? Is it a Transplant Talk page? Where can we go to see that?
I do have it on Save 1,000 Lives, and also
you got a page called Save 1,000 Lives?
Yes. So I have a
page. Okay.
But I will, you know, there's nothing wrong with having multiple pages. So I would definitely make sure that happens as well. Yes.
Right, man. So let me see. Save. Let me just put this up here. 1,000 Facebook page. All right, I'm going to put that banner up so people want to see your show tomorrow at 7. That's Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Save 1,000 Lives Facebook page. We're going to see the second live episode of Transplant Talk with Naishanda. I'm so looking forward to seeing this because you've come a long way. You created your niche.
I'm great.
I'm just so proud of you that you've at this point, because you mentioned this, you know, along the way. You know, we talk behind the scenes off and on. Yeah. And to finally see the fruition of this is just awesome.
Yeah, I'm, you know, watching you and Tamika and Jared, I said, listen, we have got to be a part of this. And
yes, we need more of these shows to raise awareness.
Exactly.
I mean, and I think that's what's happening, this push. I mean, because 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there wasn't no shows talking about transplant or kidney disease, and none of that. I mean, there were like webinars and stuff like that, but to actually talk to someone who's experienced a situation that maybe can help someone else who's going through the exact same situation, and they may think that they're all alone by themselves, when there's hundreds of people going through this. And if they can open up, I know some people are private, and that's okay, but I think God has ordained or set certain people on a mission that may be afflicted with these conditions, or people like myself, like you, to make the problem, make it more known, to spread awareness.
Right. Let's bring it to light.
To dispel those myths that you're talking about that happens in minority communities. So I just thank God that that this format or technology can be used in a way to help people, because it can be used to help or it can be used to deceive people. And I just thank God that we're able to use it in a way to bring people together and to help people as well.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that, you know, wholeheartedly. Again, the more awareness, let's bring this to light. You know, again, they bring cancer to light, they bring St. Jude's to light, but nobody brings, you know, or donor organization or no donate life. They are doing everything that they can to get the message out. But it's the people in our community that don't want to hear from them. You know, it's almost as if you have to say, look, I need somebody of color. I need to see, did somebody black go through this? because I don't trust it.
Right. I mean,
So,
but you're right. You're right. And that's just the cold, hard truth.
exactly.
And I think when we get around to accepting the truth of what it is, we could push through that, then we can save 1,000 lives.
We can. We definitely can.
Yeah,
But I mean, 'cause
absolutely.
look what they're saying about COVID-19. COVID-19 is so many people are meeting their demise in the African American community. Why? For all those reasons, obesity, diabetes, all of these illnesses that they are naming, if someone is obese, these are things that they are bringing out in the African American community. Donate life, same thing.
Right.
African Americans are on the list. They are on the list. So I appreciate you. Thank you for
Oh, absolutely. Can y'all, well, before you go, what do you want people to know about Naishanda Larramore and her message of saving 1,000 lives?
First of all, Naishanda is a fighter. I fight for what I love. I fight for what I believe in. And I have such a huge heart for people, for humanity. And I thank God for humbling me and for giving me the strength to go through what I went through to be able to be on this platform and be the strong person my parents raised and what other family members instilled in me. I thank all of my family members and friends that prayed for me, because that really was a very hard test. But even storms run out of rain. So once that rain dried up, then it was time to get to work. So I appreciate you so much, Steve, and thank you to all the listeners, today, that even just stopped by to listen to the show. I definitely appreciate you, but it is my mission and my goal to educate, to inform, and bring awareness to organ donation.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Naishanda. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know you got a lot going on. You multitasking.
And I'm not done yet.
Right.
I'm not done.
Yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time. Looking forward to seeing your second live show. The first live, second show, first live one.
Right.
On Save 1,000 Lives Facebook page, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, Tuesday the 28th. So with that being said, the lovely Naishanda Larramore, again, thank you for coming on. We'll talk with you soon.
All right, Steve. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Guys, this has been a great show of Urban Health Outreach Media. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me go back and just acknowledge some people who joined the broadcast. Thank you, Jared. He mentions you're a beautiful and amazing woman, Naishanda. Leslie, God bless you. You're in our thoughts and prayers. Hurry up and get out of that hospital. Thank you for commenting on the show. It was Jared again. Rhonda, thank you for joining the show. All the way from North Carolina in the hospital, waiting for her pending kidney transplant that's going to happen tomorrow morning, Tuesday, April the 28th in North Carolina. She didn't say the hospital, but please go over to Rhonda's page and go over to Leslie's page and send both of them love. Leslie is battling COVID-19 and pneumonia, and Rhonda is getting a pending transplant. So both of those warriors need our support. So please flood their pages with nothing but love and support. Ms. Verna, love you. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Can't wait to see you on the Naishanda show. And also, I want to invite you on our show as well to hear your story with Jeff Hartley and your whole transplant experience as well. Who else? Wendy, thank you for coming on. Definitely appreciate you. Sean Jackson, God bless you. I know you just stopped by, but appreciate your support. Kevin, thank you for stopping by as well. Kevin Lukens, God bless you. My man Bruce, we used to work together. Bruce Spare, biomed tech, dialysis tech, EMT. This guy has a plethora of jobs. So thank you, Bruce, for coming by. Also a kidney warrior as well. Uncle Jim, thank you for stopping by. Katrina, thank you for stopping by as well. God bless everyone. Thank you for watching the show. We'll see you tomorrow night. Another show of Smashing Kidney Disease. My guest will be Pastor Steve Turner, also a kidney warrior. And he got a lot to say. He just started dialysis not too long ago, but he has a lot to say about these Fortune 500 dialysis companies. So you don't want to miss that from Pastor Steve Turner. Will be right here tomorrow night on Smashing Kidney Disease at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you and have a safe evening. Peace.
Yo, it's about to go down. I said, yo, it's about to go down.